Hello, welcome to Revenant Reads. I'm Vin, and this is my pile of possibilities for quarter three of Historathon 2023. So Historathon 2023 is a year-long reading event where we are reading, discussing, and celebrating nonfiction history. It's an event that I came up with, but I have some awesome co-hosts going along with me and many other awesome participants. And essentially we have divided the year up into 4 quarters, each quarter looking at a different period of history. Now, quarter 3 is beginning in July, so it goes July, August, September, and it is looking at the years 1500 up to 1820. Now, I have it's not a big pile here. I am basically looking at the books that I am pretty confident I will get through in quarter 3. However, they are not the only books that I have that fit this time period. I've got well over 20, maybe even 30 or so books. Some are off camera to the side. I have a whole bookcase over there. I also have some more books behind me. There's cabinet doors. There's some in there as well. So I'm not going to get through all those, obviously. And the other thing is, I don't know exactly how this quarter is going to go because it's summertime. And usually July and August, I kind of read a lot of fiction. It's also a time when I am doing Book Trek, which is another event that I created. That, again, I have some great co-hosts for that as well. But we're basically looking at Star Trek fiction. And I tend to read a lot more fiction in the summer months. And then when school starts again, because I'm a teacher, in September, I start going back into nonfiction. So we have 2 months where I'm not going to get to a lot of nonfiction, I don't think. But I'm going to show you 4 that I definitely intend to get through in this third quarter, and I'm thinking the first 2 months, and then September, the last month of the quarter, I'll throw in some other stuff, and I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to grab at that point, whatever I feel like. So anyhow, let's take a look. The first thing I'll talk about is one that I had wanted to read for last quarter, but I didn't get to it. The month of June ended up being a month where I read way more fiction than I had originally intended, mostly because one of my good friends on BookTube, Mark, over at Book Time with Elvis, he was reading a bunch of fiction books that I'd had on my TBR for a long time. So I kind of wormed my way into kind of buddy and group reads with that. And that was all kind of last minute stuff, so I didn't get nearly as much nonfiction reading done as I thought I was going to. So one of the books that I had wanted to get to last quarter that also still fits this quarter is this one, John Keegan, The Face of Battle, a study of Agincourt, Waterloo, and the Somme. This also fits with another BookTube event that is going on for the first time this year in July, which is BookTube at War, where basically people who are participating are looking at books about war, both in fiction and nonfiction form. Of course, this is a nonfiction book about the war experience in different time periods. So because of Waterloo, this basically fits in with this quarter. So this is one that I definitely want to get to this month, not just for Historathon, but also for BookTube at War. Another one that I plan to get to, maybe this month possibly, is this. This is A Hangman's Diary, the Journal of Master Franz Schmidt, Public Executioner of Nuremberg, 1573 to 1617. Now, this was originally published, it was published a long time ago, actually. 1920s, maybe originally? 1928 is when this was actually first published. But essentially, the executioner of Nuremberg, he kept a personal collection of writings about the people he killed, how, the crimes. It looks like it's kind of a bigger book, but the script is not at all big on this. I don't think this will take me a long time to get through. But it's essentially just looking at his diary for when he was killing people for, maybe decades or so. So I don't know what to expect out of this, but if it's Historathon, and I thought it would be interesting to take a look at this one. Another book that I had vowed to read this year because I bought it during a book buying ban when Princeton University was having a great sale of, I think, 75% off. So all the books I got from that, I plan to read really by the end of the year, at least within the year that I bought this stuff. because one of them I knew I wasn't going to have time for that quarter of Historathon. But this is one that fits with this quarter, and this is The Secular Enlightenment by Margaret C. Jacob. And I think this is, as far as I know, I think this is basically something of a survey history or look at the the secular side of the Enlightenment. Not everything about the Enlightenment was secular, but this is the focus on that. So it's a little bit of it's close to 300 pages, but I always really like Princeton University Press's stuff. So this is one that I do hope to or plan to get to this quarter. Another one I want to finally get to this quarter is something that's been sitting on my shelf for too long. And that's one of the reasons I want to finally read it and bring it downstairs to my permanent library. And that's Passionate Sage: The Character and Legacy of John Adams by Joseph Ellis, a very well-known writer of the American Revolution. And the title makes me roll my eyes a little bit here, but I do find John Adams to be incredibly interesting. I have read David McCullough's treatment, his biography of John Adams, which I think is excellent. This one's certainly shorter. I don't think it'll take me a super long time to get through this, but he is just somebody that I do want to find out some more stuff about and get another perspective on it. Based on that title, I think it's going to be a very positive perspective, but I might be surprised. But this is one that's just been sitting on my shelf for a long time, and basically, sometimes you just get tired of looking at certain books. You just want to be like, okay, let's just get this over with. We got to read this. So this is the other one I really want to get to. When it comes to September, I don't know what I'm going to grab. I'm hoping to have these other four that I just talked about done by that point. So one of the big contenders, I'm just going to show one more book that I'm thinking I might get to in September. It's not a guarantee, but that will be The Witches, Salem 1692 by Stacy Schiff. I have read her work on Cleopatra, which I think is quite a good biography. And I went to Salem just this past April with my family. Every few years or so, we're kind of making a tradition to go up to Salem. It seems, I think it was maybe 4 years since we had been there, but that sounds pretty good to me. Every 4 years, head up to Salem and stay for a few nights. So this is one that, again, I've had for a while and that I've been wanting to get to, and this might be the time just to go ahead and do it. So possibly in September, I'll read this. Now, like I said, I have at least 20 or so other books that fit this time period. And I just don't know how my summer's going to go. I don't know when it comes September, what I'm going to feel like reading. So I'm not going to go showing a bunch of books that I'm probably never going to get to, at least this quarter. But these are the ones, the one on the bottom is the maybe, The Witches, but The Secular Enlightenment, Passionate Sage, The Face of Battle, and A Hangman's Diary. These are all ones, these four, I absolutely plan to get through, hopefully within the first 2 months of this quarter. So if you've read any of these, I'd love to hear your thoughts and what you thought about them. And I hope that you could also join us for Historathon. All we are doing is we're reading nonfiction history. If it's nonfiction history and if it's that time period, you're participating. And we'd love to have you along. We have a very active Discord server that people participate in. We have a Voxer group as well that you can join if you like. All the information will be down below. The Voxer group has died down a lot from when it was first going. A lot of the conversation has moved over to Discord, but either one that you want to join, you are certainly welcome, and we'd love to have you along. So, as always, thank you, BookTube.